and welcome to New Londinium, my steampunk let's play, which is still very early on in the whole process, but in the bigger scope of things, things are moving along nicely. Except, well, let's talk a little bit about history. History has shown that many large projects, and not just history, even now, many large projects will get stopped or at least paused for lack of dollars, or euros, or pounds, shekels, won, whatever, gold. And in our last episode, I was working to finish the storage network, but I couldn't finish because a lack of gold. Now, unlike those other projects I was talking about, I'm not spending the gold. I actually need the gold as a physical ingredient in the controllers I'm making. So that put the kibosh on the whole effort. So moving forward this time, we need to get gold. I mean, pure and simple. And, you know, this is Minecraft, so there's lots of places you can go to get gold. But I think that perhaps the best chance of getting the gold I need in the shortest amount of time is, in fact, the very place that I recently opened up long before I planned to, and that is the Nether. You know, the Nether is gold central. Whether you're stealing it from piglins, trading it, they don't really trade. They trade for the gold, but whether you're stealing it from piglins or mining it out of the netherrack, there is plenty of gold to be had in the Nether. So I think that's where I'm headed. Now, to that end, I'm going to drop off all the stuff I've been carrying around for creating these controllers, because, you know, I'm going to need space to pack stuff in and pack stuff out. And and of course, all this weird stuff I'm carrying around with me all the time, this just highlights exactly why I'm doing this. I need a proper storage system so I can put all this stuff away. I don't want to throw it away. But on the other hand, it's getting in the way. So we need to temporarily park it someplace as best as we can until we get this show on the road. I'll take the fish. So with that said, I'm going to empty my pockets as best as I can. And then we're going to stock up on a mess of cobblestone. And we'll grab some coal or charcoal. And and these tools. I'll need the stone cutter, and I'll need to get the mason's table. I don't have it on me. Oh, there it is. I forgot I put them in the workshop. Well, we'll need to bring that with us. And the goal here, when we go out to the Nether, is we're gonna, like I said, I wasn't planning to be in the Nether this early, but here we are. So I'm gonna do what I would normally do in the Nether, which is we will work our way to 0, at Bedrock, and once I get there, I will start building a central core. If you've watched my Greifenhorst series, you'll know exactly what the central core looks like, because it's going to be the same type of thing that I was building there. You know, and basically it's a finished staircase, spiral staircase that runs up and down, and from which acts as the central core, hence the name, of a complex. Now, in the overworld, these complexes are usually large underground bases and then some type of surface structure like a castle or something. In the Nether, because there is no true open sky, the difference there is that it might not be a surface structure, right? It might just run from bedrock to bedrock, top to bottom. Now, I don't know. We'll have to see. I do remember last episode, though, that when we did the check, the nether portal on the nether side is at around like 111 in the vertical, which means I'm pretty high up compared to where I would normally be. So that means there's going to be quite a bit of digging to get to 0, and I'm thinking I need ladders. If I'm gonna dig the central stair, it wraps around a central shaft, which is just a ladder that goes all the way up and down. And as we established when building the manor house, if you build in this mod pack, if you build ladders using dark oak, they kind of come out looking like a window frame. In fact, they're almost a dead ringer for the Windows 3.1 logo. So I don't like that. I'd like a ladder to look like a ladder. So that's why I just checked to see what the birch ladders look like, because there's a lot of birch here. The oak ladder looks perfect, and it turns out the birch ladder's not so bad. So we'll grab some birch so that we can make birch ladders, and I think that's it. I think I have everything I need. So what we'll do is we'll find 0 at Bedrock, and then from there we'll start building back upwards. We'll tunnel out the bottom of the shaft, the footprint of the shaft there, and then by then we will have created a furnace that will smelt a bunch of cobblestone into stone that we can turn into stone bricks, and then we can just start building. And through all of that, I mean, it's going to take a bunch of digging to get to that central point. Then it's going to take a bunch of digging to build the space to start building the core shaft. And then as we work up, we'll do even more digging. So I'm pretty certain that at some point in all that digging, we'll find sufficient supplies of gold to meet our immediate need. And then we'll beat feet back to the overworld, where we can wrap up and finish the storage system. And not a moment too soon, because like I said, I already have a problem with too many weird things I'm storing in my chest, and that's only going to get compounded as we go into the nether and start excavating a bunch of netherrack and all the other weird stuff you're going to find down there, like scorchia, blackstone, basalt, you name it, it's down there. So that's the plan. Feeling fairly confident about it, but that's probably my famous last words. The past few episodes in my Let's Plays across different worlds have been a series of unexpected situations that kind of took the plans I had in mind and threw them completely out the window. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. I really don't have any idea how many ladders I'll need, because we are going to, like I said, we're starting at about 111 and working our way down. So I that right there tells you I'm going to need about 111. And at some point, certainly not this episode, we'll probably go up from 111, but we'll burn that bridge when we get to it. For now, just focus on getting things started. And these are my favorite types of projects, where I'm killing two birds with one stone, right? In this case, I'll be getting the gold, and then I'll be getting some of the other materials. But at the same token, it's not throwaway work. This is all stuff that I plan to do at some point. Like I said, I wasn't planning to do it now, but it's okay. It's not like, it's a loaf of bread and it's going to go bad. We'll be okay. So I excavated a bunch of stuff behind this wall, and then I closed it off because, I didn't want bad guys and beasties waltzing through here, causing me grief. So we'll go ahead and make that furnace. And I think we have all the bits we need. Coal, cobblestone. So while that's cooking, we can head to 00. So I'm at, I thought it was 111. It's at 103. My mistake. Still, we're pretty high up. Actually kind of surprising, because usually when I put the overworld nether portal so far down in the overworld, then usually a little to my right, a lot to my right actually, then the portal in the nether's usually fairly far down as well, but that wasn't the case here, which I don't know. I'm assuming. Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. Forward and a little bit to the left. I'm assuming that means that the section of the nether I'm in is pretty solid, which is actually surprising. I mean, the nether, it's like this really big and messy, porous landscape. Porous is probably the best way to put it. It's you know, it's got caves, nooks, and crannies. I mean, the overworld does, especially in Minecraft, but the nether is like an extreme version, right? And so usually there's space for a nether portal to somewhere in there. And if it's putting one way high up like this, then that just tells me, for whatever reason, there's probably not space. Which is going to be interesting. Now, the way I'm digging this here is, you know, I'm kind of digging definitely in the right direction. I'm digging without being there, right? I'm kind of stepping back and digging because yeah, we're getting there. Because the nether is full of these little pockets of lava. And when I say little pockets, I mean exactly that, little pockets. They are one by one pocket of lava. And they're not open to anything, so they don't make any noise. You don't hear the bubbling and the pop. And as a result, you're just digging away, and all of a sudden, boom, you pop into one of these little lava pockets, and you've got lava pouring everywhere. And the problem with that is, in the nether, lava flows like water. It flows just as fast and just as far, which is problematic. Because like normally lava is, you hit the lava, and you're like, oh, I'll step back, and I'll check my watch, and think about what we're going to have for lunch and turn around and walk away, but not lava in the nether, baby. Lava in the nether, it's out to kill you. And so, you know, when you find it, you freak out and panic and, you know, bungle all the keys at once and all the, you know, because unlike water, you know, well, like water, the lava will sweep you away and the lava can drown you, but those are minor concerns because it will burn you to a crisp long before those become a major problem. Soul sand, and just a thin layer of it too. I must have, yeah, my inventory's full. So soul sand is useful, interesting stuff. I tell you about it, but I'm pretty sure you know all about it, so there we go. So now I've pretty much zeroed in on the center, and now we're just spiraling down to bedrock. But another advantage to doing kind of the distant digging like this is, again, it's the nether. It's very porous, and it's not unusual to be in a strata of netherrack that stretches out over a wide lava sea. And, you know, if you're a little too close to the action, you might accidentally fall down that hole before you realize there is a hole. And, of course, badness ensues. So, this kind of helps keep the proper distance from the digging to not only prevent lava burns, but falling. So, there is that. And, you know, I'm telling you, chances are pretty good you're a Minecraft veteran, so you already know this stuff. If I'm telling you and you think, oh, that's a pretty good idea, I hadn't thought of that. Well, that's just because you haven't done it enough the other way and gotten burned enough to come up with this way. So, learn from my mistakes, by all means. That's what I tell my kids. I tell you the mistakes I make so that hopefully you learn from my mistakes and you don't have to make your own. But they're kids, so they will forget what I told them, learn from their own mistakes, and then remember what I told them. And I speak from a position of authority on this because that's how it worked for me. You know, mom and dad told me their stuff. I said, yeah. What was that again? And then, you know, two decades later, I learned the lessons all over again myself. And their words came flooding back to me. Yes, that's the great cycle of life. That's the part of the cycle of life that the Lion King didn't teach us. Don't know what the sunstone's used for. The blocks you need is pretty much just a decorative block mod. So we've accumulated enough weird pieces of material that I guess we'll probably need to spend some time and look and see what we can make with that stuff. The reason I included it, though, is the blocks you need is actually, it's a decorative mod, but it's really kind of focused on industrial and laboratory type blocks, which is perfect for what we're doing here. So it's also perfect for the From the Rubble Let's Play that I'm working on. Traditionally, I freak out a little bit when I see magma blocks in the nether because it usually means I'm on the edge of a proper lava pool, right? But that's the second batch of magma block I've seen, and I don't even hear the magma. I mean the lava. Magma, lava. I don't hear the bad, bubbly, hot stuff. So now, to this day, I'm not a huge fan of the nether. Oh boy. The thing about the nether is it was specifically, I mean, you know, Minecraft is a peaceful, gentle game, and if you're running around the overworld, you don't have to fight if you don't want to, even without changing the difficulty settings. You know, you can take precautions to make sure, like, zombies, creepers, and skeletons don't spawn near you, and that if they do, they're, you know, safely tucked away from you. I mean, you could take measures to make it a very peaceful game, even without changing the difficulty to peaceful. The nether doesn't work that way. Not in any way, shape, or form. I mean, yes, there are hostile mobs, and they are very hostile, and they hit a lot harder than their overworld cousins. But even that being said, if you go on to peaceful mode and there are no hostile mobs in the nether, it's one big death trap, right? I mean, you know, there's lava seas, right? And This netherrack, like I mentioned last time, it's about has the same consistency as a Twinkie, right? And pick your favorite baked good. It's shaped in really weird dimensions, so you can't go running very fast because the light's bad and all the rocks look alike, and so it'd be really easy to fall in a hole without realizing it. Is that bedrock? Bingo! This is it. So now we just need the 0, 0 is it, and I'm off by 1. Which one is it? So let's put away all of our stuff and get ready for expansion. I'm going to need those stone blocks. And yeah, if you're getting motion sick, you might want to avert your eyes for a little bit as we work our way back up this spiral stair. But yeah, the Nether's full of all sorts of environmental dangers, and of course I'm playing with like biomes plenty. So we've got like these I forget what they call them, like flame flowers or whatever, but they're lovely orange tulips that will burn the living snot out of you if you touch them. So there's all that stuff. There you have brambles, which will poke the living snot out of you if you touch them. Blah 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 blah. And then on top of all that, if you turn on the mobs, well, then we got a good chunk of lions and tigers and bears. And plus, I've added some mods that add even more unfriendly folks to the mix. So it definitely keep you on your toes. As Wesley says to Buttercup in The Princess Bride, one thing was it there's one thing for sure about the fire swamp. It definitely keeps you on your toes. Well, that's true, and you can say the same thing about the Nether. And if lava comes rushing out of one of these, I'm dead, man. Okay, we made it. So I've got my fresh stone blocks that I'll make into stone bricks. Okay, let's go establish the footprint. So here we go. This is even worse if you're motion sickness prone. Whee! Just shut your eyes. It'll be over in a second. Oh, a minute maybe. I will say, I mean, I don't like to come to that. What? Okay, I didn't walk on anything. I didn't take damage. I normally don't go into the Nether until I've gotten like all tricked out with fancy armor and stuff, just because of all the reasons I just mentioned. And usually I find myself in a situation where the environment I wind up in kind of justifies it, right? So I need to go this way. Yep, that's it. I'm on 0, 0 right there. Right there. So we'll mark it. And then we'll dig out from here. But like I said, so normally I find myself in a situation where that type of preparation and protection is warranted. But I gotta say that my experience in the Nether in New Londinium here has been fortunate, peaceful. I mean, there were some piglins when I first came in the first time, but we walled them off, and I haven't seen a peep of lava I mean, actual lava. I mean, there's magma blocks all over the place, but don't hear it either. So yeah, I've been lucky. I've been very, very lucky, I would have to say. So that just is going to make all this go faster. Of course, the way things have been working lately, it's kind of like young Frankenstein when they're grave robbing, and Igor tells Dr. Frankenstein it could be worse. Dr. Frankenstein asks how, and Igor says it could be raining. And then almost on cue, the lightning and thunder start, and it starts pouring rain. So here I am saying, well, this has been really peaceful and fortunate and smooth sailing. That's just tempting fate, I fear. Okay. But I wanted to facing south. That works. Normally, I would make sure that the central core in the Nether is lined up exactly as it is in the overworld. But with new Londinium, I'm not building central core like this. I'm actually building a whole massive infrastructure, including elevators and stuff. So it doesn't really matter if they line up exactly the same way. And there's some gold. Nice. That's exactly why we came down here. So let's see how this plays out. Nice. Ooh, got a whole little vein going. And this is exactly what I was hoping for. 2 or 3 of these and I think we'll be done. That's 23 nuggets right there. So I'm going to need a total of 7 ingots worth, and so far we've got 2. So that was a tidy little haul. Where are we at now? So this is so far it's given me 4 ingots. So we're halfway home, right? So now we'll just finish digging out the footprint of the central core. The footprint of the central cores, just like the one in Greifenhorst, are 9 by 9. Well, not 9 by 9. They're 11 by 11, but the 9 by 9 is actually like the space inside the core, right? So it's 9 by 9 with 1 layer on the outside for the walls that kind of enclose it. So that's what makes it 11 by 11. But going pretty smooth so far. Netherrack has some interesting uses. Nether brick, I've always been pretty fond of. Red nether brick is the most beautiful color red I know. It's awesome, but it's a little too vivid, right? I mean, Minecraft, especially if you've got shaders running, you have some pretty powerful saturated colors already. And the red nether brick, at least with this resource pack, but pretty much all of them, it is a gorgeous red, hyper red. Not like neon, but it's still intense. Okie dokie, okie doke. And I'm really surprised I'm not hearing any magma. Haven't even seen any. Now I'm just tempting fate. Not magma, lava. I use the term interchangeably, and that's incorrect, both in the game and outside of the game. Magma is when it's underground, lava is when it's on the surface. In the game, magma is a block and lava is the liquid stuff. Again, kids, don't learn science from Minecraft. Which is ironic. There's a Minecraft educational edition, but and they actually add things like chemicals and stuff. Okay, I need to go back up. I've kind of partially obliterated my stairway. It's not a problem because now is a good time to replace it with a ladder. So we just go straight up and straight down. And I won't have quite enough, but that's okay. We can make more. They're like Doritos. Eat all you want, we'll make more. It's an old commercial they used to do. Actually, I think it was not just Doritos. I think it was all the Lay's potato chips. All the different brands. As you notice, I do remember a lot of commercials. That's because, you know, I grew up in the TV age. We used to watch a lot of TV. There's a limited number of channels on, a limited number of commercials. So you saw the same commercial over and over again till it was burned into your brain. Maybe even into your DNA. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if my kids remember those commercials because they inherited it from me. Nowadays, you know, we have a very mixed media society, but if you tend to watch the same media, like say YouTube, then you have a tendency to see the same commercials over and over. And the funny thing is, you know, the commercials are tuned to you, so we don't even have the shared experience because, like, you know, in the old days, if I was watching Saturday morning cartoons and I was watching Honeycombs commercials, every other kid I knew that was watching TV that day was watching Honeycomb commercials, regardless of the channel. And we could all talk about the Honeycomb commercials we saw, right? We all saw the same thing. It's a shared experience. But now we can't even do that because, you know, if you're into hiking and backpacking, then you're probably seeing advertisements for campgrounds and REI and all that jazz. And, you know, my friend who's into cars has seen advertisements about cars and auto parts, and so that shared ad experience is right out the window. The only time we even get that anymore is when we all watch the Super Bowl, and not all of us watch the Super Bowl. So, yeah, usually when I go through something like that, it's kind of like a nostalgic moment, kind of like reminiscing about something we lost, and I kind of regret it. Yeah, all of us watching the same ad at the same time. That's not a nostalgic moment. That was just a fact. And I don't necessarily miss it. Though, I'm not particularly fond of the blank stares I get when I talk about commercials that other people haven't seen before. So, I mean, I'm used to the blank stares of people not understanding what I'm talking about. It's just that those particular ones are annoying because they should understand what I'm talking about. Did you see that ad? Come on, you had to have seen that ad. Nope. If you grew up in the Los Angeles area, we had a lot of independent stations, and the independent stations had a tendency to also run a lot of independent commercials, local commercials, right? And one of my favorites was Cal Worthington and his dog Spot. So Cal Worthington was an auto dealer in the Los Angeles area. I think eventually he had a dealership for like every brand of auto out there. But over the course of time, he had a huge operation, right? The guy was very successful in selling cars. And part of that was his folksy charm. He always had like a white cowboy suit with a big old white cowboy hat. And he basically, hi, I'm Cal Worthington, this is my dog Spot. And his dog Spot was never a dog. First of all, every commercial he made, it had a different animal. And his dog Spot, one time could be a lion, another time could be a chimpanzee, a zebra. It just didn't matter. He had a different dog Spot every time. So, I mean, but this is the very beginning of viral marketing. That's a piglin. That's a piglin. Okay, where's the piglin? Oh, well. Okay. I feel bad about what just happened. That was a baby piglin, so it presented no threat to me. It actually ran away from me. But I've played enough vintage story now that you don't leave wolf cubs behind; they become adult wolves. And now I've just gotten this mindset: oh, baby, a baby version of a hostile creature. You got to take it out now, or I'll have to take care of it later, and it's easier to take care of it now. But I'm pretty sure that baby piglins don't grow up to be proper piglins, so I killed that poor kid for nothing. And I kind of feel bad about it. I mean, I'll get over it, but... I mean... I've been lucky so far, and now I just, heaped up a healthy dose of negative karma. So let's see how it goes now. May have to pay the piper for that one. Okay, this is 0-0 again, so now just dig down. So... since I'm just going straight down and you're not supposed to dig straight down, I will employ my classic patent proven or patent pending method, which is hang on a ladder, dig 3 blocks. If it's safe, drop down, put up the ladders, lather, rinse, repeat. So 2, 3, drop. And if my calculations are correct, which they sometimes aren't, but if they are, I should connect to the shaft I was working on a second ago, and then we're good. Got a quick and easy way up and down. Won't have to go through the motion sickness of the circular staircase. But I will need ladders. Not a lot. It's probably too many, but it'll get me going. We'll probably need more eventually anyway. Like I said, we're at 103, but this thing, I have a mod that opens things up considerably, so the nether's much taller in this world than you're probably used to, and we might need those ladders to get all the way up. There we go. Easy peasy. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't take any damage. Excuse me. Okie dokie. Now at this point, we just keep working on the central core until we find the gold or run out of material to build the central core. But I did bring quite a bit, so I don't know what bricks I'm going to use for the central core, but I have options. That's what I brought the mason's bench or the mason's table for. And since we're going to be working down here, might as well go up and bring the furnace down. This way I won't have to keep running back and forth every time I want more stone. I just do all the work locally. Oh, get a glass of water. You know, I'm really eager to try out the new Create mod, but I can't because I'm using these mod packs in which I use the Create mod are very extensive. They're very healthy in that they have a lot of Create mod add-ons, and the problem is that when the Create mod goes out, some of these add-ons take a while to update, and that's part of the problem I'm having right now. I think I've got 10 or 11 Create mod add-ons in New Londinium, and one of them is just not updated to the newest Create yet, so I can't update everything. And it's not just the Create add-ons. There's other mods that integrate with Create. So now I'm trying to find a good building block for the core, and then an accent block. The accent block, if you remember, like from Gryphon Horse, is something like this, right? It's kind of a biggish blanket, blank type of block. And then the building blocks are actually, you know, detailed like little bricks. So, and at the bottom of the core, there's a place where I block out where the stairway would normally continue if there wasn't bedrock in the way. And I need some type of decorative block to fill that space. Engraved cobblestone's a good one. What else we got? There is... This is kind of cool. Oh, but it's connected textures. This one too. Okay, this is kind of cool. Just go for it. Anyway, so I haven't played with the new Create mod yet. I haven't even looked to see if anybody's talking about it or put it in the wiki. I'm sure some of that stuff's happened and I could learn from it, but not yet. Soon. When will then be now? Soon. Okie dokie. So I put these down initially to help mark where the central shaft will be. Now I can replace them with the blocks that I'll use on a more permanent basis. See? There you go. Doesn't look too bad. And then I can do the same thing with the actual blocks of the shell. Those are the accent blocks, and then this and then the actual wall blocks made from these smaller bricks, more detailed bricks. And here, this will be the opening at each level. So we'll go ahead and set up where the doorway will be, like so. Now the thing about the Nether is, even without a torch, things look I mean, it's dark, but this is where it gets misleading, because like the light level 0, but it's a lot brighter at light level 0 in the Nether than it would be in the overworld, and this is where they get you, right? So you don't put down as many torches or whatever. On top of that, because even though the light level seems to be brighter than it really is, creatures spawn at a much brighter light level in the Nether than they would in the overworld, which basically means it's almost impossible to monster proof the Nether using light or light alone. So what I've done is I've created these panels using the architect's table of Dominum Ornamentum, and I'm recreating the floor texture but with these panels. But the panel now essentially makes it impossible for a mob to spawn there, right? Because it's not an empty block. So unless this will kind of work, but this is the only way you can. You know, it's ridiculous to put this many torches everywhere, but that's what you got to do in the Nether. So we've essentially monster-proofed the bottom, and we'll continue that as we work our way up. A lot of trial and error went into that method, but it works. I remember when I was working in the Nether and I didn't realize that monsters were spawning at brighter light levels. So I kept wondering how all these monsters got into the space that I had prepared so carefully to make sure that I was isolated away from all the bad guys. It was really annoying me. And I mean, it annoyed me to the point where I finally looked it up on the wiki. It's like, oh. And thank God for wikis, eh? Especially the Minecraft wiki. I mean, the Minecraft wiki is so good. The official one, even the fandom one, I guess, is so good that it kind of spoils you for the wiki of any other game. So, you know, I'll play a new game, and of course one of the first things you do is like, oh, well, let's just look up the wiki. And, you know, sometimes the wiki is like barely more than an introduction to what the game is, and that's it, right? And you're like, wow, that doesn't do me any good. So that's just a testament to how strong the Minecraft player community is. Dedicated and detail oriented too, because there's other wikis that are very large, like the Minecraft wiki, but when you go to look at an article, right, maybe it has just as many articles, but it'll say, you know, oh, stairs. Well, it's a stairs block, and you can go up it. And you're like, okay, well, thanks. And if you look upstairs, like in the Minecraft wiki, it's going to tell you how it's a, it's not a whole block, and it has, so in the Java version, it counts as a solid block, but in the Bedrock version, it counts as a transparent block, and blah, 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 blah. It'll start telling you more stuff about that block than 99% of us would ever want to know. And in fact, more than 80% of us would even understand the technical stuff, right? So it's like, but that is a sign of an awesome wiki. And wikis are, by nature, community driven. Now, what's funny is wikis only work when you have people who are A, knowledgeable about the material, and B, excited about the material, right? If you work in the corporate space for any length of time, you know that there's lots of stuff that has to be documented, right? Whether you're making widgets or software or whatever, there's always something. And it's always been a challenge to keep the documentation up to date. Always a challenge. It's, as a PM, this is something I'm always constantly dealing with. And I know that a number of companies like Atlassian and some of the others, they've, when they build out, so I've got a mob wearing a sophisticated backpack with a jukebox hat on, somewhere in the immediate vicinity. Anyway, what I was saying is, it's really hard to get people to keep documentation up to date at work, right? And Atlassian and other companies have said, well, what we can do then is we'll just set the documentation up to be like a website, organized like a wiki, so whoever has the knowledge can make the updates. Now, I've been in a number of organizations where the manager said, that's an awesome idea. Oh, I guess it is an awesome idea on paper, but nobody documents the wiki either. I mean, and it goes back to what I just said, right? We're talking about Minecraft. People are wound up about Minecraft. They want to share their knowledge. They want to make it useful. They want others to succeed. That might be true at work, but on a much, much, much lower scale. And so people don't feel all fired up to share their knowledge. Besides, in the corporate space, if a lot of people feel like if they share their knowledge, then they're lowering their own value, right? And if others have the same value that they have, then it puts them at risk for being let go. That's a pretty cynical way of looking at the world. And maybe 10 years ago, I would have said, that's just silly. Nowadays, yeah, okay. I can't disagree entirely, right? So that's the weird thing about the past 10 to 15 years, right? There's things that have happened that I, in my younger self, would have never, ever imagined. And yet, here we are. Here we are. Gonna need more sticks. More inventory slots. Probably more important than sticks at the moment. Now, I'm still worried about lava opening up here. I mean, I don't hear any pools of it, but those little stinky... I said stinky, but I meant sneaky. 1 by 1 lava pockets. They're all over the place. But the trick here is, as long as you're standing on a block, or more to the point, as long as there's a block nearby that's lower than the block you're standing on, lava, just like water, will seek out the lowest spot. And so Like if I'm standing on this little 1 block high wall, unless the lava comes down in the exact position I'm standing in, it'll pass me by and flow onto the floor of the central core. And that's perfectly fine with me. I don't want to get burned to a crisp. I mean, Anakin Skywalker somehow survived his encounter of lava. Barely. But pretty much any other person I've heard of, especially like real life people, hasn't fared so well. So lava is dangerous. You know, it's kind of funny. Well, it's not funny. It's sad, but it is kind of funny, right? I used to live in Jackson, Wyoming. When I fled civilization, I fled California to get out of the rat race, and I moved to Idaho and then Wyoming for a while before fleeing back to the rat race in the Seattle area. But living in Jackson, Jackson bills itself as the gateway to Yellowstone National Park, which it is, right? I mean, if you're going to go to, most tourists will enter Yellowstone through the south, and that's through Jackson. So there you go. But the park plays a big role in the economy and and the news of Jackson area. And so every year you will hear stories. Ooh, there's more gold. You'll hear stories of tourists who do bad things or do stupid things in the park and sometimes get themselves killed. Trying to pick up lava or deal with lava it reminded me of it, right? Because you always have the guy who puts his kid on a buffalo so he can get a picture of the kid on a buffalo. That's a wild buffalo. It is not a pony ride, right? So when the buffalo amazingly, some buffalo are patient enough to deal with that for a little bit before getting totally fed up and throwing the kid and maybe the parent several yards in a random direction. You got to use some common sense, and I think part of the problem is that 50, 100 years ago, almost everybody spent a bunch of time outside in their youth. They learned about things like wild animals and fire and, don't go too close to a cliff or you'll fall and kill yourself. I'm going to put this here and keep all the stuff I was making for construction down here in here so that I don't have to lug it back up and back and forth. Anyhow, a lot of the things that people learn the hard way, they don't learn anymore. And so you have people who've lived their whole lives in cities, read about nature in books, or worse yet, get the idea from cartoons or whatever, or zoos. And then you put them into a natural environment where they're dealing with some of these things as they really are for the first time. They're completely unprepared to handle it. And badness ensues. Like I said, sometimes it can be funny because that's just kind of a gallows humor thing, right? Happens so often that eventually there's no way to react except laugh it off, or you'll just get tore up inside. Excuse me, gentlemen. As you were. Oh, gosh. Whoa, I'm on fire. Whoa. Did he put me on fire? Wow. And he bit the living Jesus out of me. I almost died. Just coming through the nether portal. Okay, I gotta think about that. I need to figure out a safety mechanism. if you watch Stargate, they would put an iris, a titanium iris, right over the event horizon of the Stargate wormhole. Keep out the bad guys. That's what I need. It's looking kind of dark out there. That's what I need. But this will fit. Okay. So I have all the gold I need. I now have a bump on my head from waking up. So I have all the gold I need. I should be able to now just go in there, finish the network, right? We'll throw up a few storage drawers to make sure it works. I'm sure it will. And then what I'll do, hopefully for this episode, is we'll just make the rest of the storage drawers. It's just grunt work. It's pretty easy to do. We have plenty of wood, or we will have plenty of wood. And then take all the stuff that is starting to overflow in my storage and put it away in its proper place. And wow, and then we're there. Then we are ready to rock and roll. Where we go from there, I think we will start excavating the central core. Plus, it's been a while since we did some exploration, so I'd like to see, because I don't have scaffolding. I'd love to find a jungle biome. And, with the storage in place, now we can actually kind of get more serious about gathering different types of trees and farmable goods, right? Because then we can, produce those in copious amounts and keep them until we need them. You see like that big yellow tree on the left, that is, they used to call them blossom trees. I don't know what they call them now, but that's a tree that comes to us from the Quark mod, and it has a beautiful reddish, dark red wood. When they made mangrove wood in vanilla Minecraft, I think they were copying these blossom blocks from Quark mod. But you can make some pretty cool looking stuff with that. I mean, once we get the storage up and running, the world's our oyster, right? This is it. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff we got to do on the outside of the house, decorate the inside of the house. But, a major milestone has been met. And it's major because it's unblocking, right? It removes, except for this lag. There is a new release of Distant Horizons, but I need to experiment with it first. Anytime I do an upgrade, I don't do it in one of my actual worlds. I actually do it in a test world and make sure I don't hose myself. So we'll get that going. And we'll get all the pieces I was using. Because we'll need them now. I think I had 4 before. I think I needed 7 more, so that's 11. So I think we're all good there. Got plenty of stone blocks on the way because we need a bunch of those. Okay, let's go take a gander at the basement and see how many we really need. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, no, I don't need 11, just need 10. Even better. And today's episode has been brought to you by the number 10 and the letter K. Oh, gosh. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then I feel sorry for you. Let's see. So, controller. This one. I think I got all the bits I need for these. So, let's see. Uh-oh. I don't know if I'm gonna... I may be in trouble here. Actually, I'm pretty sure I'm in trouble here. Actually, I know I'm in trouble here. So, let's stop and look at this. The controller requires a bunch of stone, and this is not the part where I'm in trouble. This part is okay. In fact, let's make the controllers. I made 3. I can make 3. I made 3. So that means I need 7 more, right? Okay, not a problem. But and let's go place them down before I get too wound up here. Before I start crying into my beer. Of course, I don't have a beer. Glass of water. You can cry into it. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I need 7 more controllers. I got the gold. That was the whole point of this effort. But let me quote Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. So, the thing is this. It requires these things, 2 each, and each of these requires 3 redstone torches. So, 3 redstone torches times 2 is 6, times 7 is 42. I'm going to need 42 redstone. I don't have 42 redstone. I got 18 and a couple, okay, 3 more. So I have 21 redstone. Just a little less than half of what I need. So, what this means is before I can finish the storage system, I'm going to have to go on walkabout again. And at this point, we're over an hour. So, I guess it's next episode. Just like I was a gold digger on this episode, the next episode I'll be a redstone digger. Except that, you know, redstone sources aren't quite as obvious. I think what I might do is just go back to the new Londinium site and go to the bottom again, where the portal is. But this time we just start digging out the central core. I mean, gonna have to dig out a bunch of that stuff anyway. So again, it's 2 birds with 1 stone. It's work I need to do eventually anyway, and I am sure to hit quite a bit of redstone over the course of that work. So that is a little frustrating, gotta admit. Yeah, I mean, in my last episode of Mostly Satisfactory, I ran into some heartache and headache that was a little frustrating there too. So the Minecraft gods have it in for me. I don't know what I did or didn't do, but I need to find out and fix it. I don't mind doing things the hard way. I just don't want to do things the hard way all the time. Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Just thinking about redstone. I really wanted to have the storage up and running. Well, that's what we'll do next time then. I can't really think of anything else I can do that would be constructive in a short amount of time. But it went swimmingly smooth right up to the end. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful that you were here with me on this little segment of our journey. Maybe you were my good luck charm, and now that you're leaving, my luck has run out. Either way, I hope you return for the next episode. It'll be a little extra work, but it will be worth it, and then we will be primed, locked, and loaded, ready to explore and proceed. So until we get to that point, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.